Hey students, in our last lecture of marketing management, we had discussed about product classification. We have also discussed that why product classification is required. We have discussed product classification on the basis of durability and tangibility. Now in this lecture, we will discuss product classification on the basis of users. Broadly, the users are two types: consumers and industries. These are two basic type of customers or users. Means broadly the customers can be divided into those two category: consumers and industries, or consumers and businesses. These are two types of customers or two types of users. So on the basis of users, the products can be divided into consumer goods and industrial goods. Again, we need to understand that marketing strategies, production, promotion, distribution strategies, these are different depending on whether a product is consumer goods or whether a product is industrial goods. So first we need to understand the difference between consumer goods and industrial goods. Consumer goods are those goods which are marketed to consumers who purchase product for self and family consumption. So consumers purchase products for self and family consumption, while industrial goods are those goods which are marketed to industries or businesses. Those purchase products for use in their business, not for self or family consumption, but use in business. The industrial goods or businesses may purchase goods for use in business as raw material. It could be for reselling the goods. It could be for use for its customers. So businesses buy products for maybe reselling, maybe using as raw material, maybe to be used by employees, maybe used by the customers of those businesses. So we'll discuss industrial goods in a while. So first we need to discuss consumer goods. Consumer goods are further divided into four broader categories: convenience goods, shopping goods, specialty goods, and unsought goods. So convenient goods are those goods which have low risk. So consumers do not spend much time, do not have more involvement while making purchase decision of those goods. Low risk and low involvement of consumers. Why we say low risk and what type of risks are there? So generally consumers buy product depending on their value for the consumers. So different products have different risk level, and depending on that, consumers involvement is also different. For low risk products or goods, consumers involvement is low, and for high risk products the consumers involvement is also high. So the type of risks are: financial risk, means if a good that has been purchased by consumer does not work properly, so consumer loses money, that is financial risk. If a product or goods purchased by consumer is hazardous to consumers' health, that is physical risk. If a good that has been purchased by consumer, and because of that purchase consumers social value or consumers image in society declines, then it is social risk. We'll discuss examples as well. For example, I buy a product for 10 rupees, that does not work. All 10 rupees is wasted, that is financial risk. So when I buy a product for 10 rupees, its financial risk is low. When I buy a product for 100 rupees, financial risk is higher. For a 1000 rupee product, financial risk is even higher. About physical risk, sometimes financial risk might not be high, but a product may harm our health. So if it is so, again we consider it as an important risk, and we give more time, or we have more involvement in that purchase. We don't purchase that from anywhere, and we make some informed decisions about those products. For example, a simple example is medicines. Even a medicine may be priced at rupees 2, 10, or 15. So price is low, financial risk is low, but that could be hazardous to our health if it is duplicate, if it is not suitable for me. So that is physical risk is there. That is why consumers do not purchase medicines from anywhere and any type of medicines. Then social risk, maybe a product like clothing, it is there. So it might be of 200 rupees, 300 rupees, that not seem to be a high financial risk. But if I wear that clothing and my friends make fun of me that it is not a, I'm not looking good in that, then social risk is there. Then time risk is also there. If a product does not perform, the time that we have spent in buying it or exchanging it or searching for it has been wasted. So time risk is also there. Then psychological risk, if product does not perform well, we have to go through some mental pressure, or we have to excuse me, we have to face some problems which we don't want to actually. So that is psychological risk. Just like I buy a product, maybe a simple type of product, maybe a soap case, maybe a soap, and I buy it and it does not perform. And perform well means if it is a soap or detergent for clothing, then my clothing is not clean. So I am mentally in a pressure or unstable that my clothes are still dirty. So that is psychological risk. I go back to the shop, I have to talk to the shopkeeper, return it, exchange it. So that is all something that a consumer actually wants to avoid. So that psychological risk is also there. So depending on these risks, the consumer has more involvement or high in or low involvement while they purchase some products. So for high risk product, the consumer's involvement is high. For low risk products, the consumer's involvement is low. So convenience goods are those goods which have low risk and low involvement. Then gradually shopping goods have higher, or you may say moderate involvement and moderate risk. Specialty goods have higher involvement, or you may say highest involvement and highest risk. Unsought goods are somewhat different on these scales. So we'll discuss these one by one. So within convenience goods, first is staples. Staples are those goods that are purchased frequently or regularly by the customers. These goods form the purchase list, monthly purchase list of the consumers or households. So products like soaps, shampoo, cereals, uh, toothpaste, oil, these FMCG and edibles, these form consumers or households monthly purchase list, and these are called staples. So it is important to understand for marketers that staples are those goods for which consumer has a repeated buying behavior. Consumer keep on buying the same product month, another month, month on month. The consumer keeps on buying the same products for staples. Consumer does not think much while the next list is being purchased. That is a habitual or repeated buying behavior. So consumer is in a habit to buy the same brand, same product, same quantity every time. So more involvement is not there. A lady in the house, or a mother, or anyone in the house knows that how much quantity, which brand, which product needs to be ordered, needs to be included in the list, and that keeps on moving. So for marketer, it is important to understand that to change a brand or a product or a quantity, it takes much efforts by marketers because it is in habit. to buy the same product or same brand every time. So next time when the list is being prepared, it is a challenge to change the brand or the product or the quantity. For example, in my house, if I say that Vivel as a soap is being purchased every month, so changing it to Lifebuoy or changing it to Rexona or changing it to any other brand will be difficult and would require some efforts by marketers so that one who is preparing that list would change that. Next is impulse goods. Impulse goods are those goods which are purchased without much thought. Those are purchased with as the name explains, impulse buying behavior is there. So whenever it is seen in the store, these type of products or goods are purchased by the consumers. So not much involvement, not much thoughts, just an impulse buying behavior, and those are purchased because those are seen somewhere. So it is not a part of our frequent or monthly buying list. It is not something that is very important for our life or our lifestyle, but it is bought if it is seen. So examples are candies, confectionery items. So these products are generally purchased when those are seen by the consumers. Marketers very cleverly understand that which products are impulse goods, and those goods are showcased in the store. Those goods are placed near the billing counter. So while in queue, a customer may keep on adding these impulse goods in their cart. So overall bill also increases and marketers share of wallet also increases. This is a type of you may say cross selling as well, and these goods are sold if only those are seen. That is why it is very important for these goods for marketers to display. So display in store or availability of these goods and visibility of these goods is very important. And next is emergency goods. Emergency goods are those goods which are purchased on an urgency or emergency basis. Whenever required, immediately it would be purchased without much thought, without looking for much options, without looking for the price, without looking for brand, just purchase. So these goods are purchased wherever those are required, whenever those are required. So it is important that these are available wherever the need emerges and whenever the need emerges. So the marketer needs to understand that where the need for these products emerges and these products should be made available there. Some examples are paper soap, small locks which can be used for and chains for which can be used for luggages, and maybe umbrella. So these are the goods which are purchased whenever a need emerges, and immediately those are purchased. Brand is not important, but availability is important. So marketer needs to understand that these should be available wherever those are required, and availability is important. Next category is shopping goods. Shopping goods are the goods with moderate risk and moderate involvement. These are the goods which have somewhat more risk than convenience goods. Generally, apparels and fashion products are a type of shopping goods. So consumers give somewhat more time in searching, in making purchase decision. And next is specialty goods. These are the goods with even higher risk and higher involvement. So vehicles, furniture, electrical appliances are specialty goods. In purchase decision of these products, more involvement is there, more time is given while making purchase decision. The risk is comparatively higher. Jewelry is also a part of specialty goods. So opinion of the whole family or friends or peer groups are taken while making purchase in specialty goods. So the marketers need to understand that for specialty goods, a follow-up is required. A customer does not make a purchase decision immediately. The purchase decision involves much thinking, much broader process of taking opinions from others. So it is important that for these goods, the marketer has everything positive. There should be positive word of mouth. There should be positive opinion from others. There should be a follow up by the salesperson. These things are important in case of specialty goods. Last category is unsought goods. These are the goods which actually customers do not try to purchase, do not want to purchase, but if sold aggressively, these products may be purchased, these goods may be purchased by the consumers. So consumers are actually not looking for these products, they do not search for these products. That is why this is called unsought, not searching. So but when sold aggressively with an offer, with a suggestion, then again with the low risk and low involvement, these goods are purchased by the consumers. The examples are some types of magazines that are read by consumers during their travel, or maybe a credit card. So these are the examples of unsought goods for which the aggressive selling is important. So this is all for consumer goods. We'll discuss industrial goods in our next lecture. Thank you.